Hello. I'm still setting stuff up. I started setting stuff up like a little bit before 4, like 40 minutes ago. Cause I knew that there was gonna be some issues, and I was right. I brought my wings back. Okay. Because originally also the stream said, oh yeah, we're gonna start stream at 12:36, and I was like, 12:36. That does not sound right. So and earlier it was actually at that time that I was first setting stuff up, because since I needed to just like make sure everything was good. Yeah, no, it wasn't supposed to appear there like at 11. The chat's working. The chat's working. Oh my gosh. Kind of. I saw it for a second. Hold on, let me just. Let me see if it. Oh, I guess it doesn't show up, but oh, there we go. It shows up! Oh my goodness, I was testing this earlier and it was. I could have sworn I thought it was broken. Because it just was not working earlier. But yeah, I've been working on seeing how streams work on YouTube versus Twitch since I woke up, kind of. I got verified for streaming, because that's the other thing, you have to get verified to stream. So I got the streaming all good, verified, and whatever. Oops. I'm just gonna move the chat a little bit more center to where my canvas is. Technically, it's not centered to the whole everything else, but okay, cool. So I did post it on Instagram. So I don't know, like earlier I posted a little bit late because I was just so busy like figuring out how to work this in the first place. Which I'm making it sound like more trouble than it was. It was just a little bit tedious to set up all the details of it, since it's like slightly different. Anyways, today we're gonna work on Halloween things. Except actually making it Halloween, because this was almost done, and then Clip Studio decided to turn it, like, not save it, so it turned out like this instead of having a full background and some animation. It's no animation and no background. It's really lovely. And then we also have this little guy that we're gonna color, maybe animate later. Yep. And I have in the background, lo-fi for ghosts. Ghost only is my favorite type of lo-fi. So You know, if the music is too loud, too quiet, I'll fix that too. Okay, so I'm gonna move this one over here since we're not gonna do that until afterwards. For this, I do need to fix the shading, because I guess it also didn't save my shading. So, we're gonna start with fixing those little details, and then we're gonna block in all the trees again. Let's see. All these tabs hidden by my face. Multiply. Okay, so there it is. Look how different it looks with proper shading. So for now, I'm going to turn it to normal so I can see what needs to be properly shaded again. And grab the colors from there. Because I know for sure this needs to, you know, be a little bit neater. Because it's not being very neat right now. We're good to just airbrush at this point. Oh, and I should turn off the bat. Okay, so bat's gonna be turned off for now so we can see what we're actually doing. And this bottom part is gonna be covered by a bush anyways, so really what I might do is I might grab this. I don't know. Cause there's lighting coming from this way. This way meaning the right a little bit. At least in my head that's how it was. So I'm gonna keep it that way and keep airbrushing this. Eventually I'm gonna have to fix it because again, there's gonna be a bush there. And I like bushes. This one's a bit jagged, I don't know why. I'm gonna do on the ends, I'm gonna blur it. Because that's what I did last time. I think it looks nice. Let's see. So for this part, I also... Let's turn it back to multiply, see. And I grab the color, so... For this part, I fixed it by like completely darkening this up. So we're gonna do that. And there's some missing parts here. That's weird. I'll have to patch those up. Don't you hate it when your house is missing a few pixels? And I'm gonna put it, I think like right around here, I'm gonna put a lantern. So I'm gonna say, for the most part, I'm gonna do, I guess, a gradient. Because it's not gonna be that dark there if there's a lantern, but there's still gonna be shadows. It's gonna be shadows, but it's fewer shadows. And that means we can also do the door having its own little shadow thing. It's doing its own little shadow thing over here, which I'm just gonna bring across to everything else. Normal, see. Normal is just like picking out the colors correctly again. Going back to multiply. And now it looks like I'm erasing it, but I'm really not. That's not gonna work. That looks not great. That might be too wide. this, I think I got it here now. And it's always a little bit tricky when there's like multiple light sources. Now, let me try, that's too dark. That's too blue. That's not working. Okay, that's still not working. Normal, grabbing this color, making it slightly lighter. So we have a little bit of a gradient before I actually start to blur it all together. Let me see. What's this supposed to actually look like? Okay. That's fine, that's good. Now that's blurring, it blurs a little bit more nicely. Ooh. Okay. That was quite fast. It gets on my nerves. The missing pixels lets the cold in. Yes, exactly. You get it. You see, I need to, speaking of, let's patch that up real quick because it's bothering me. So it's that layer. I'm gonna turn off the multiply, even though it lets me see where the errors are. Oh, I need to turn off that too. This confuses me. Why is the color different? Is there another? Low dodge. There we go. Turning off glow dodge as well, because that's also apparently messing me up. Oh my goodness, there's so many missing pixels. Why must you be missing? You're letting all the cold in. Speaking of, I recently got colder weather where I'm at, and it's so nice. It's so nice when it's fall and winter. I mean, as a ghost, you're always cold, so having everything else be cold with you just makes it better. Hold on, does not save. I'm trying to figure out what it saved and what it didn't save, because there's some things I'm noticing that have changed. Oh, this is annoying. Because I do sort of remember what changed, what didn't. But this was like a save that... This is a save from a while ago. So I don't remember all of it. like, all of this was patched up, and I got the shading correct. I'm just gonna keep talking about how annoyed I am about this file not saving. Because it was so close to being finished. Which, like, if it was, like, maybe just a little bit of, like, a line art not finished, and I was only on the line art stage, I'm like, okay, that's fine. That's reasonable. But having my entire background gone, now that is not okay. I'm wondering why there's so many pixels I need to fill in. Maybe because I use Bucket Tool too much. Bucket Tool is great until you have pixels missing everywhere. There's still more. Stop it. Stop missing the pixels. Okay, I think it's... No, it's not. Anyways, so this time we're also gonna add actual little ghosts and monsters and stuff. I wanna add cute little ghosts on the front. And I also have a design for a monster ghost that's in canon to the universe. That's like one of the characters. Cause this was originally gonna be, this universe was originally gonna be like my first comic, and then I got the idea of the Not Spider, and now that's my first comic instead, which I'm not mad about. The Not Spider is a bit easier to work on, and like I gradually build onto the plot for it, versus this one dives straight into the plot, straight into a bunch of world building that I have not finished yet. So it's probably a good thing that this one's still a work in progress overall. Like Spain, I wish I had cooler weather. There's been only a tiny breeze with just sun. Oh. Oh yeah. Like it should have been cooler a lot earlier for me too. It's just global warming. Maybe we just need more ghosts in the world, and then it would be global cooling. What? There it is. Okay. So now to remember all of these corrects, the place, which would give it a little bit of charm if there wasn't blue seeping out of all of these little missing pixels. But to be fair, the blue does help give away where the pixels are, so it's easier. There's so many over here. That should be good. The rest should be just fixing... Oh, here. This one's clearly just me not coloring this right. Now everything else, I'm gonna add the glow again. Was there another glow? No, I think that was the only one. Okay. So I'm gonna turn this back to normal so I can snatch the color from it. And now we fix some of this by hiding our mistakes with the blur effect. The best way. hold on, actually this part is gonna need some shading there, just because there's a plant there, I just noticed. Let's see, where else? This part definitely needs to be shaded because it's so far off. Did I say shaded? I meant blurred. This part needs to be blurred. And shaded. Considering making those vines, the vines right here, moving in the animation, so I don't know if I'm gonna, I might not shade that. I'm gonna keep that part unshaded for now. Because if it sways, then the shadow would also sway, and if the shadow isn't swaying, that's kind of strange. And this part is mostly the plant here. This plant isn't gonna move for the most part, so I'm fine shading it. Let's see where else. Let's shade this part too. Actually, for a while, I considered getting rid of the vines like this because I thought, huh, these look too cutesy. These look too cottagecore. They are not very spooky, but then I added color to them, and I ended up keeping them because it worked out. I think I didn't want to erase. I didn't want to erase my vines. I like vines. I have a vine plant. What's it called? It was a. It's called a rainbow vine, I think. Because in the sunlight, depending on how much sunlight it gets, it changes color. So it turns like slightly bluish, slightly reddish. Overall, it's green right now. But if you look closely, you can see there's some parts that are a bit different hues. Wow. Vines can be cottage or spooky, depending on how it's made. Yeah. These ones are more like my cottage core type cute vines. They have like a little heart shape, so I mean it is what it is. And let's color the boss right now, because I can't finish the rest of the shading if I don't draw in all the plants. So the color, I'm trying to remember because it was a slightly grayish, not exactly green, pretty sure it might have been purple. Or like a blue that was not like that. It was slightly. It's definitely a lot darker than that. I didn't save any like progress pictures of. Well, actually, maybe I did. Hold on. I didn't save any progress pictures for sure of the background, but I probably have saved one, at least of the plants, because I was proud of the plants. Not that I wasn't proud of the background, but I wasn't fully finished with it, so I didn't take a picture until I was like, yeah, I'll be fully finished with the background. And then I would take a picture. And then the file got deleted, so that never happened. Where is it? Let me see. It's gonna take a second to find where it is. Anyways, how about I might just make a new color instead for these vines if I can't find my original reference photo. Because it's looking like it wants to hide from me, so that might be an issue. Oh, I found it. Okay, so it was green. It wasn't exactly this green. It was a little bit more gray and a little bit more yellow, maybe? If I add some yellow to it. Oh, no. That looks about right. I'll fix it if it doesn't. And then I know for sure the plants over here were like a bluish purple, because technically the wisteria is supposed to be purple, but because I wanted it to match more with the window lighting, it's gonna be bluish. And now, let's see, what did I do? Gouache brush, because that one makes everything a little bit messy, and I think that fits well if I'm gonna do moss and what's the other one? Not vines, I guess it is moss that's just like randomly splattered about. And I actually added some over here now that I'm looking at my image. So let's keep that over there. I'm gonna have to probably lower the lighting on this part. It's making my plant look bright. Hi, Candy. Hi, Chica Boom Boom. Is that from? Is that from the new song? Because I vaguely remember. There's like a new K-pop song that had that name. Although it's like a common saying, it's just like that's the first thing I thought of. I am not coloring fully in the lines and I don't care. It's gonna be messy. I'm gonna make it messy on purpose. I'm gonna actually, let's add a little bit over here. So I want a little bit more writing up there. And then after I do this basic color, I'm gonna go back in with other shades of green. So then it can have a little more variety and also like fix the lighting, fix the shading. Because some of these plants are defying the shading. They're not wanting to be shaded. Make this out here a little bit more, and then just gonna add some random little bits here for leaves, which I might make a little bit lighter depending on how it looks. You know what? I'm just gonna keep coloring here, and then I'm gonna erase. Although for some of it, I think the plants should be overcrowding only some of the railing. So it covers the whole thing. That's a bit unkept. Too unkept. It's supposed to be unkept. Unkept. How do I pronounce that? Anyways. Actually, I'm gonna get rid of that for now so I can see what I'm doing, because the color over here is so dark I can't see. Oh, that might be a wisteria plant. I might have to recolor that part. Oh well. Okay, so that part looks good. It looks so messy without the actual colors. It's so messy. It's gonna look neat in a little bit. It's okay. And what's gonna be the real pain actually is separating the layers for when I animate it, because right now I'm gonna draw the whole thing, and then I'm gonna combine all the layers, and then I'm gonna separate some of them so when it's animated it overlaps a little bit. Over here I might do a little bit like this. So it's like, I'm just following what makes sense, because usually these plants would grow around water. So if like water is falling down from like the rooftop here, then it's gonna be like hanging stuff, I guess. Like most likely here. Let me look back at chat for a second. Hello. No, it's from Boom Chicka Chicka Boom Boom for little kids. Oh, okay. I don't know that one. Gotta be so honest. But are you dressing up for Halloween? I am. I'm dressing up as the Grim Reaper because I like the Grim Reaper. And yeah, I'm animating it. I can't I can't see the chat and draw at the same time because it's on different um tabs. Tabs isn't the right word, but I have to switch my what's open or no. I can't have the chat actually next to me, which is a little bit annoying. I wish I could. So then I could quickly just glance over and then I see it. But I don't have a second monitor or anything. So I just gotta remember, oh, the chat might be talking about things. So I'm gonna check it. And then I check it, and then it's empty. Or it's not. That's pretty grim. It's pretty grim. Grim Reaper's pretty grim. Let's see how it looks like now with the colors back. Some of it is hidden. That's okay. I'm gonna fix it. Oh wait, there's some over here I missed. How much aura would lose if I dressed up as an anime character? The blue colors make me think of Frozen. Trying so hard not to talk about death from Discord. I mean, you guys can talk about whatever comes to mind. I just won't be able to reply to it right away. But I will. I have to keep up on coloring and keep up on chat. Which maybe I can pull up on my phone when I'm thinking about it. Because it's YouTube and it's easier to just quickly type UnGhoste on YouTube than have to search for myself on stream on Twitch. So maybe I might do that. Although even then I can't read and draw at the same time. My eyes. Hey, this was supposed to go on loop. Why did it not loop? That's so mean. If you just add an hourglass and blue contacts and lights, you'll have death from Discworld. That's so true. That's so true. I like death from Discworld. He's a silly entity, silly. Lo-fi for Ghost 3. I might change it to that. This one hopefully gives me no ads. Because I'm gonna put it on. Nope. All of these are lo-fi for Ghost from Homework Radio, by the way. I have it in the description, or at least I should to the first background song. And the cat plush. That's Death from Discworld. Death is a character. Doesn't he have a book actually? Like one of the books he's the main character. So now let's fix this by going to normal. Like that. Fixing this here. Multiply. Because this isn't gonna, it's not gonna work that way. I feel like this bush is missing. Oh! I was like, why is this bush not bushing? It's not being a plant, proper plant right now. It refuses to be. And after I fix the lighting on the plants, I'm going to add some more color. So they have like a little bit more variety, because all plants are not the same. They're a little bit special, some of them. Let's see. I'm wondering why this isn't looking very plant-like over there, but oh well. I'll fix that too. Let's see, I'll actually do a little bit of shading over here like this, because that doesn't have that type of shading yet. Okay. What other plants still need shading? This one. These over here, actually. All of these. Shading multiple at once. Chat. Handy. I only read Mort, but I want to read the rest. He's such an interesting character. I agree. I haven't read any of the books, but any of the Discworld books, but I do want to once I start reading again more regularly, because reading is quite nice. No, you're describing like Death incarnate. He's just the Reaper. He helps souls get to the other side, and he's kind and silly. I think he loves cats specifically. But anyways, I like that depiction of Death being like the Grim Reaper being nice like that. And this in the universe of in this universe that I'm drawing right now, the monsters. It's actually the same one as the knot spider. I keep having to like say that just because the worlds seem very different. In that the knot spider is more focused on the angel and demon aspect of it versus this story is focused more on the monsters and paranormal type vibe. Oh, hold on. I need to color more of this to actually shade it. But in there, the angels are. Some of the angels have like a role that acts as a Grim Reaper, in a sense. So instead of having actual Grim Reapers, it's basically angels. Color blue, slightly purple blue. Let's see how that looks. Okay, that's perfect. Maybe make it more gray. And a little bit darker. Which I can always fix, I guess, with the shading, making it a little bit darker, a little bit other things. Let's see. Oh, there's also one here. And there's supposed to be one over here, technically, and I'm gonna... Let's keep the... That's a little bit too purple. But this... Just makes it look like brown when it's not really brown. Let's make it lighter, actually. So here we go. This part I know interweaves over here. And there's gonna be a tree in the background, right in the corner, so I'm not gonna perfect this too much. Let's see. There we go. And there's actually a little bit of blue over here, because I wanted a little bit more blue, bluish purple for berries. It's a little bit too much, a little bit too strong. So I'm gonna shade this a little bit more blue in some parts. Especially because of the lighting, there's actually gonna be some blue here anyways, so I don't mind just putting that on right now. So that's a little bit more balanced. There's a little bit of blue plant stuff going on here and on the other side. You guys still talking about death? Sounds like a cutie patootie. Thought Mort might make me feel anxious or something because I have a bad fear of the topic. Death can be a scary topic, but I think death as a character in Discworld is very comforting. He created a whole world for an orphan girl and adopted her so she couldn't die. That's so sweet. A very impressive resume. He does have quite the impressive resume. Let me see, how am I gonna... part dark. And now I can continue doing the lighting. Shading. Scrap that. Back to multiply. And fixing up these guys over here. Make it darker. There we go. Because that previous shade was not really working, I think. Some of the plants just did not accept it. Let's see. I think that should be okay for the lighting. I'm trying to see if there's anything else I should fix before I start doing the background. What's living in that house is the main character of the comic. the main character, Colton. Oops. Colton. Let's see. I have human version that I have not colored yet. I can do that real quick, I think. I was super lazy with his clothing because I still don't have an official outfit for him. He doesn't have any official looks right now because I'm still developing him as a character. So I'm not exactly sure how he's gonna look like, clothing style wise. Everything else I kind of got done for his design. He's an older character I've had for a while. Make this a little bit goldish. Oh, hold on. I actually have a color palette for this. There we go. So let's copy this off the color palette. So at least I don't think I saved any other colors. I'll keep this color here for now. Why is your face so small? Let me. Oh, that's the other thing. I rendered his bat form, but I didn't render his human form. It's still crunchy. What? Why are you crunchy? Stop it. Why does this look weird? Oh well. I'll fix it. I'll fix it. Ah! Okay. That's what I did. This should be the right color for this. Her hair should be. It doesn't look like it's matching right now, but it should be correct. This doesn't look correct. Let me... Bat form. Stealing the color. Probably doesn't look right just because it doesn't have... This has shading on it, that's why. So it is the right color. Okay. You're just not working with me then. I need to fix this then. Because then if I'm just not gonna... Colors are so annoying sometimes. Because I'm acting like it's already shaded when it's not. So I have to make everything a bit lighter so it all makes sense with the other colors. This can stay dark, it's fine. This can stay that color, that's fine. Now... Did I use the same colors for the... No, I didn't. I used different ones. Okay. Anyway, so part of the animation is going to be doing a transition between the bat form and the human form. They're not going to be active at the same time. There we go. This looks a bit more fitting. And I'll fix it when I actually get around to doing the animation part of it. Anyways. Tell us about your comic. Okay, so for this one isn't really a comic yet exactly. I only have the basic plot, basic characters, very basic world building, which is actually the same one in the Not Spider. So right now I'm more focused on the Not Spider. So there's not really that much going on with this comic. Let's see. Yeah, so this is the main character, at least one of the main characters. I'm thinking he's gonna be the main one because I think I like having the comic more to his perspective. So that's Colton, and then he has a bat form, which technically is a demon. If we're speaking in the terms of the world building, but also technically not a demon. He's complicated. He's complicated. I'm working on a lot of different projects, actually. Candy, you read Not Spider yesterday, and you need more. Oh, thank you. It's another episode's coming out Tuesday. It's every Tuesday. I'm working on the next 2 episodes today. I just finished episode 9, part 1, and I'm gonna work on part 2 later today after the stream. And I already have a sketch for episode 10, so everything's pretty good. Let's see. What was I gonna do? I was gonna do the background, I think. So that's the last thing that I really need to get done. What's this? You know what? I'm gonna block the background still. I wasn't gonna originally, but now I think I'm going to, because that's gonna make things so much easier for me. So we're gonna have a gray, and the further back the trees get, the more light gray it's gonna be. So in the foreground, we can make it a little bit more bluish. A little bit like that. I'm basing this off memory, kind of. And actually, I do want a little bit of like a skyline here, kind of like that, I think. So so the background's gonna be going downslope a little bit. So I want the moon over on this side. So we're gonna have the moon on that side. It's gonna be like this. So and the trees are gonna hide my mistakes, so it's okay. So if I do mess up, it's not gonna be too messed up. Oh, that's pretty messed up. Hold on. How about make it a little bit darker over here, and then make it a little bit like this. So technically it's gonna be getting darker for a little bit instead of lighter. The trees themselves are gonna be lighter. Maybe what's making this look weird is this needs a little bit more balance. So if I keep the balance, maybe that'll make it look better. Still looks wonky. Because the purple is too bright. That's probably why. I'm gonna turn it down. In that case, you know what? This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna erase this for now. I'm gonna save this color, hiding in the corner over here. Put this color back where it belongs. Fade it in. Perfect. I should have done this originally. There we go. This looks better. You might have to make a WEBTOON account for me. Oh, bye-bye. It would be so nice to have more viewers. But, yeah, if it's good as it is right now, the comic, it's gonna get so much better from here on out, because there's so much lore that's getting unpacked very slowly over the course of season 1. And I know for sure there's going to be 2 seasons at the very least. There might be a season 3 if I split season 2 into 2 parts. It really just depends on how I'm going to organize it, really. Because I'm thinking about developing. I have an outline of the entire plot. I know how it's gonna end. I know mostly all of the story beats. But recently, I've been focusing on one of the characters. I can't say anything because it's a spoiler. But one of the characters is gaining some importance when before in the outline that character wasn't that important. Let's see, what color should I make this? I'm not even on that yet. I need to draw. Okay, so we're gonna do. I might draw with the mechanical pencil, so it's more sketchy. That might be a better course of action. I like that better. And I'm gonna move this tree a little bit forward because it's too close for my taste. It's a little bit too close over here. So we're gonna put it right there. So there's still that little nook right there, but also it leaves some room. Anyways, for that previous question of like how many projects I'm working on, it really depends on what you define as a project and what you define as working on. Because the answer differs depending on that. Like, if you mean working on as in actively producing and putting out for viewers, I'd say the only things I'm really working on are social media things like Instagram, YouTube, streams and stuff. And the knot spider. Everything else is being worked on without being published at the moment. So like right now, I'm technically working on the world building for a book I'm gonna make for NaNoWriMo in November. Which I already have one draft for not this book, but I ended up realizing I want a book before it. So the book I originally wrote first is gonna be book 2. And then the book I'm gonna write for NaNoWriMo is gonna be book 1. Which sounds a little bit confusing, but it isn't. It's just I wrote book 2 before book 1. Because I guess I wasn't thinking about it that much. So for that one, I'm working on right now, focusing on the character arcs. And I'm writing it all in a little journal because I rather write stuff in little journals than write it on a Google document or any online document, I guess. This is gonna be so sketchy on purpose, and it kind of pains me because I usually don't like having very sketchy line art, but for this it's gonna work out because it's a spooky tree, and spooky trees are very messy. Candy says, I actually spread the word about the Not Spider to my English-speaking friends, and they said they love the art style and want to check it out. Oh, thank you. That's so nice. I really appreciate that. And from Nightsbane, why do I feel like you really want to talk more about the Not Spider story-wise, but can't because it's parts that aren't out yet? Well, yeah, that's how I feel like for it right now, a little bit. Just because it's still really new. There's less than 10 episodes out. There's less than 10 episodes really made. If we're counting sketches as being a made episode, I guess. Uh, so there's a lot I know how it's gonna go down. And I think especially after season 1 concludes, there's gonna be me talking more about the aspects of the entire season 1 that I couldn't talk about before. And I'm obviously gonna say, hey, this is analysis and spoilers of season 1. So if you haven't read it, there's some major spoilers. Because there are a few reveals in season 1 that I already know how it's all gonna go down. I know how it's gonna happen. I know what's gonna be revealed, what isn't gonna be revealed yet, what's gonna be hinted at for season 2. And because of all of that, it's like I want to talk about it, but I also respect not spoiling the story for people. And I don't want to be a spoiler as much as I want to do analysis of it, because the story is also not just a good first read. I'd say it's also a good story to read more than once because of the reveals. Because I do include details, like minor details of certain things that foreshadow or that make more sense after you know the reveals, or even at times make a little bit less sense in the way that it's just too comedic a little bit sometimes. I have fun with it. So, I mean, what I can talk about more of is the story for this, I'd say. Just because everything's in a concept right now. One sec. Okay. So I can't talk about this story more because it's in the same universe, and I could talk about some mechanics of the universe, but keep the lore, the actual story part of the Not Spider secret. Let's see, I'm gonna add, just because it's annoying me, I want to add another tree in the foreground. Because there was... I so wish I took a picture of it so I'd know what I'm drawing. Anyways. So, This is I call the universe as a whole astroscape. Sometimes I forget how to pronounce it a little bit. Like I pronounce it in my head, my mouth decides to not want to speak it. But anyways, in this universe, there's angels and demons, and that's already explained in the Nut Spider. But because of those angels and demons, there's also monsters, and that's what I really like about the story. Because Colton is always in a very paranormal setting. And even though angels and demons don't sound paranormal, once you add that layer of monsters and ghosts and possession, because ghosts, spirits, mortality, stuff like that, once you start adding those details, then it gets really complicated and really paranormal in a way. Oh, am I supposed to use this? Or maybe, hold on. Because I know there's a specific brush that I was gonna use. Maybe it was the gouache brush. I'm trying to remember. Definitely not that one. In the original drawing of this, before my file got corrupted, there was a specific texture to everything, but maybe I guess not. I'll just keep it with my regular one. And now, you know what, I'll do this. There we go. Tiny bit more texture-ish. So sad redrawing something. Just because I know it's just not gonna be as good as it previously was. Anyway, so there are ghosts in this universe, and I'm still figuring out the mechanics of it exactly. That's part of the world building I'm still working on. Because in the Knot Spider, it isn't super prevalent. It sort of is, in a way, but it isn't. The Knot Spider isn't so focused on the magic system. It plays a big role, but it's also not the focus, exactly. It's just the background, it's just the world that they live in. It's how just things exist. But in Astroscape, Colton is like he's not supposed to exactly be a demon, but he's very much sided with them, is what I'd say. Because demons and angels, I made it very classic in the sense that they're against each other. In some stories, it's like a war, kind of. In this one, I'd say it's a war. So humans are considered mortals who are kind of just existing in the universe alongside this war thing going on. And for the most part, angels are sided with mortals because that's how it is. If the demons are creating monsters, then monsters that kill people, then I'd say it makes less sense to side with them. But that's where Colton comes in. He's technically human. Again, I wrote it down. I can't remember at the top of my head exactly how it works, but he does have a bat form, and that bat form is technically supposed to be a demon, but weapons that are usually used on demons don't work on him. And that is a little bit of a big issue. and a bad revelation, because if other demons get on this, I guess, technology, magical technology, it isn't really technology, but if other demons do this, that is not good for the angels, and that is not good for mortals, because it means you can't really kill the monsters. It's not good if you can't kill the monsters. I might scoot this. I feel like the line art is also not thick enough, because this is going to be blurred a little bit in the foreground, and I need it to be extra clear. This is my real G pen, right? I'm just making sure I'm even using the right brush. It just feels too smooth. It's a little bit weird. Maybe it's a textured pen. What if I do the textured pen? I can't even tell how textured this is. It doesn't look very textured. I'm a little bit confused now. What is this tree doing? Let's see. How about... let me fix this. I'll make it outreach a little bit, maybe? So then it covers... it's a little bit more of a... it focuses on the house. It brings the eye to the house, to the rest of the scene. And that's exactly what I needed to do. There's also going to be another one over here. It's a little bit... well, not even. It's just going to be one giant root growing that way. We're going to make it a little bit bigger over here. So this is going to be essentially a clearing. There we go. That looks a little bit more complete, I'd say. I'm gonna do a little bit more of the roots over here, just because it keeps dragging itself out. The lo-fi has guitar. Okay. This was actually Nooney's idea, Nooniverse, to make the trees dead. Because originally I was gonna do pine trees because in the actual story that's how I always imagine pine trees. If I think forest, I think pine trees. It's my automatic go-to tree. But however, that's not exactly the case. And why is this still not very textured? This is supposed to be textured. Oh well. But it did not look very spooky. I ended up making it look Christmassy by accident, which, you know, let me see, I still have, so, I can make these trees spooky, technically. It just, with everything else, it just didn't fit the vibe, so I had to change the lighting, change the shading, and I think dead trees make maybe a little bit more sense if, I guess, instead of having leaves that turn orange, it has leaves that turn gone. So I'd say it's like colder weather, so I might, ooh, I need to do, you know what I could do real quick right now, just to test it out. So that's that tree, that's that. I'm gonna mark it as red for line art. And then I'm gonna, underneath it, orange, put it in its own file. And then underneath all of that, I'm gonna do some fog. Round mixing brush. Oh, wash blender might actually, that's just the blender, okay. Dry gouache, maybe? Sure. Mixing brush. It's too smooth. Gouache itself should be perfect. Yeah, especially with this, I need to really think about textures, because textures are everything. Let's see. I want fog coming out through this way. It's gonna roll down over here. And I'm gonna draw, it's technically gonna be behind this tree, and that's gonna be clearer when I color it. There's some ways to get behind that tree too. More fog just down that way. Some fog I do want to seep down through this way, which I'm gonna need to remember. So what I'm gonna actually do is put fog in front of this now too. So the whole thing looks even more spooky. Maybe it's just humid over there. It's just the morning, you know? The sun is gradually coming up, and that's why there's so much fog everywhere. It's not actually spooky, it's just 5 a.m. And then after I do the other trees, I'm gonna do more fog in the background, so it makes it make more sense. So it brings more cohesion. Mixing brush, round mixing brush. Now this is gonna be used for making a tiny bit more cloud-like. I don't want it to be too cloud-like, because then that's gonna look like fluffy clouds. We can't make the Christmas mistake again. Oh, hold on, that's the wrong. I need to do that underneath, because that's where it's supposed to be. gonna do a little bit over here, just a little bit, because now I'm kind of getting rid of the texture. The texture is kind of nice. So instead of accidentally getting rid of the entire texture of it all, I'm just gonna do it very lightly on some parts of it. And this fog is also going to be moving. And once I start on the coloring, I'm going to have to hide it. Hiding is okay. I'm like, what? I need to do more trees in the background now. Yeah, I'm just gonna hide it a little bit more for now. Just so I can see what I'm doing in the background a little bit more. I know what I can mess up and what I can't. Because there's some things that I know I should not mess up on. And if it's not hidden by the fog, I should probably not mess it up. Oh, this tree's gonna have... I know what I want for this tree. I want a little hole for a nest of eyes. And then the eyes are gonna be blinking and it's gonna be so pretty. See, I'm gonna get rid of this part. I'm not liking that. I'm gonna add a different branch to it instead. I might be making the tree a little bit big for how close it is to the house, but oh well. You guys get a big tree then. And actually I need to add a little bit more of the roots over here. I feel like there needs to be a little bit more of that stuff. I don't know what I'm going to do for the grass. I might not make grass. Maybe it would just be like that one scene in Puss in Boots: The Last Wish where there's all the dead trees and it's like, well, they have grass there. It's tall grass. Maybe I should make some tall gray grass. This branch is gonna be shorter. It's a little bit too big. That looks a little bit better, I think. I have to always think about the trees in like a 3D shape. Is then there's like branches reaching out from all around, and sometimes I don't put the branch that's supposed to be coming out in the foreground a little bit more. But there really should be a branch like this one that I'm drawing right now. And there's also more in the background that you just can't really see, but they're there. This is a pretty big tree. I might make another branch out here. I think I'm wondering now if I should also end up making the branches move a little bit, like it's windy, when I start animating it. That would be cool, I think. I could probably do that. I have to figure out how to properly distort the branches though, because right now when I do keyframes, I need to mess around with it a little bit more, I think. Okay, so these are our main trees. And now the background trees don't matter as much. The background trees, I might make a few straight ones and a few wonky ones. Oh wait, no, hold on. There's one wonky one that's supposed to be over here. I forgot which direction of wonkiness it's supposed to be in, but it's in the same wonky shape. That makes it good for a chair, which I want to use in an episode at some point. That's why I like this wonky tree. There's not going to be that many of the trees that are wonky like this though. Wonky trees are good for also climbing. I climb trees sometimes. And the wonkiest ones are always the best to climb because they are a little bit unpredictable and a little bit perfectly unnatural. They're perfectly unnatural is how I would describe them. Because they usually form because of like wind or the sun making them bend that way. However, let's see, where am I gonna put this? Okay. However, they're usually not supposed to be as janky as they are, I guess. It's the best word for it. They're not as grunkly. They're supposed to be... They're usually like oak trees, maybe, but I don't know if oak trees lose their leaves when it's winter. Pretty sure they don't, but I could be wrong about that. Come I'm gonna make this one a little bit more wonky. I'm gonna make it curve to the side even more. Because of that curve to the side. I'm gonna have to fix this. Looks like it's hunched over. Hunched over, old tree. Climbing trees is fun. I agree. I like climbing trees. Although now I'd probably try to wear gloves or something so I can still draw without a bunch of cuts and bruises. As a kid, I did not care. I'm gonna make the branches. Oh, I don't want to make them smaller actually. I'm just gonna make this part bigger then. Wonky, wonky, wonky. All the wonkiest trees. Sometimes I have plants, and sometimes I make them wonky on purpose. I put them at certain angles so then they bend and stuff. Like I have one that's in a spiral shape because of that. Because I kept turning it around and around and around every time it started growing in a new direction. So eventually it just became a little spiral going up. And there's people that make art of that kind of thing. Just bending the plants and making, I don't know, I guess heart shapes and stuff. I like spirals though. It reminds me spirals now every time I hear spirals it reminds me of uh Michael from the Magnus Archives. Okay, I think my wonky tree is pretty good. I don't know what else I'd add to it. And now that my wonky tree is all good, now I think it's a good time to start on the background trees that don't matter too much. I'm gonna make the base bigger actually before I do that. So it's a little bit more matching. Because for some reason the base here is so not working out. This kind of confuses me, but okay. I think I got it now. That would be smart silver gloves. Yeah, climbing trees. Don't wanna hurt myself. You heard, you heard Michael. You heard Michael. Yes, it's a little bit more of an obsession right now. How would a melody describe itself? You can spam Michael quotes. I don't mind. I just won't be able to read them all while I'm doing the background. I love Michael quotes. Such a creature, such an entity. Oh, now this is too thin. Maybe what's making it wonky is that I added too many branches on the left side, and now it looks unbalanced when in reality it's nuts. I don't know. Maybe that makes it better. I can't tell. The wonky tree doesn't want to be normal. Oh well. Let's do the background trees now. Background trees. I'm gonna say they're gonna have to be shorter than the trees here, so it's gonna go down this way. And I'm gonna keep that in mind because in my original one, the trees took a little bit forever because I made them too tall and then I had to mess around with how tall they were gonna be. And there's gonna be some more wonky trees over here, but I need to keep in mind that it has to be shorter because even though I think because it's a longer distance, it's supposed to be higher up and therefore taller than the foreground trees. That's not true. So I need to make sure all of the trees in the background are actually shorter, or actually smaller. That's kind of difficult. Because then the trees decide to branch out so far that, I don't know, it's a little bit annoying. But so far it's looking pretty spooky, so I'm pretty happy about that. I am not a who archivist. I'm a what. I love Michael. A what? What is a melody? There's just so many quotes that are so good. In a recent one, it introduced himself with or just saying that was stupid. That was a stupid move, essentially. Again, I'm not too far in the series. Technically, it's been posted for a while, but I still don't like spoiling things that were very heavily based on mystery. It's my best explanation, I guess. And I know specifically the Magnus Archives is like it's one of the most respectful fandoms that I've like found when it comes to that. Like even if I'm scrolling through the comments for a long time, I don't see any spoilers. I only see people who, like, even if there are spoilers, it's automatically like hidden, kind of. And people, you know, like when you have to click continue the comment to like see the rest of the comment, like people hide it in that. So if you're just scrolling like absent-mindedly, you don't accidentally come across spoilers. Which sometimes for some series I have to remember, like, oh, okay, let's not look at the comments before watching this, because then I'm gonna get told about some secret thing that's really cool, and then I know what it's all about, and it's not very secret anymore. You know, I wouldn't... Goodbye tree for now. Because I need to focus on making this tree look decent. Half decent. And I'm actually separating the layers, because before I also didn't separate the layers. So all the line art was all mixed with each other, and it was so confusing. It was so... Such a fun time. Such a fun time. There we go. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I do have some creatures, some entities who are like Michael in the sense of like being a what and not a who. And I think that's pretty cool because I like the idea of, I guess, not being constrained by being a person. It's it's an interesting existence. And actually, the little guy over here, which I think I might color after I'm done. After I'm done with this here, I'm gonna color that one for a little bit. But at least right now, the concept for like that character is don't they don't have they're technically not a person. They're technically like a possessed I wouldn't say object. I'm trying to think of the best way to explain it without having to explain for 2 hours. But they're living in the sense that they have a soul and they can die if their soul leaves. And that's why I call it a possession, but it's not really a possession of something, like a ghostly possession of something. It's more of like something being brought to life in a way. So sort of undead. And that's why I did the pumpkin character for the prompts, because this prompt was Headless Horseman and nostalgia. Pumpkin patches bring me pumpkin patches bring me nostalgia. There we go. And this pumpkin character is kind of like the Headless Horseman. The Headless Horseman usually carries on like pumpkin, I think. I was looking up the lore the other day, but that's an undead entity. Reminds me of pumpkins, pumpkin patches, and then I'm just gonna use that character instead of the actual Headless Horseman from the actual myths, the actual legends. Do you need a door archivist? I recently heard that one. That was so unsettling, but also so funny at the same time. The door entity. And when I wrote my big bad for D&D, I accidentally made Michael. How do you accidentally make Michael? Was it like a character with the same vibe, or was it just entirely ripped off? Because I know I've had some Dungeons and Dragons like characters and things that were kind of ripped off of Minecraft, for example. Oh man, this would be so complicated right there. The branches are all intertwined. And then I also had, I think I had a player who wanted to be Pathfinder from, I forgot what it was. I want to say Overwatch, but I know that's wrong. It's the same vibe as Overwatch though. And that character was just like, it wasn't even inspired. It was straight up just that character in my Dungeons and Dragons world. And we ended up having to brainstorm a little bit for how some of the technology would work, because that character uses guns. My world doesn't really have guns, it has magical guns. So we said that we'll use the spell mechanics for shooting guns, essentially, in the Dungeons and Dragons game. I feel like I mumbled that a little bit, but anyways. Saying G sounds makes me feel like I mumble. So then all the words get squished. So anyways, so like basically used instead of doing fireball, it was like pew pew pew. And then fireballs from from the magic from the magic tech. Pathfinder from Apex Legends, probably. I can look that up to verify it, but I think so. Oh shoot, this is supposed to be shorter. I'm gonna make this smaller. Oh, hold on. I need to not get the branches confused. Yeah, it's probably from Apex Legends. It was a robot guy. Very silly, very clumsy. Kept failing at jobs and stuff. We made that into the actual lore of the like when we actually started playing. Let's see. I might do. So I have a wonky tree over here. I might make the rest of them not wonky. I might make them all. This one's gonna be just a straight tree. And then I'm gonna do another layer so I can have all the trees separate. So it's easier to color, easier to separate them. when I need a color. So that was, it was a little bit annoying to color before when I had everything all kind of together in the same layer. And this should be wider. It shouldn't be taller. It should be wider. I don't know what I'm doing here. This tree is not reaching for the sunlight. There is no sunlight to be found. Alright. I think this is good. Wait. Okay, I'm missing I'm missing an entire branch here. And I just did not notice it because it's all interweaving. Makes it all confusing. I think that's good. So now that space is filled up more. Let me see. Now let's do this space. This space is annoying because I want to make the trees bigger. Maybe I'll hide the house. If I hide the house... Oh, what? Is that layer not in there? Oh, that's why. I see. So hiding both of those. And then... I'm gonna make background trees over here. These are not important trees. And I really don't need to be going this far down, but it helps keep in mind how this is all laid out. Because otherwise I don't really have a reference point, and then it looks wonky. When it's not supposed to be wonky. Some wonkiness is good, this one's not. There we go. Let's see what the house... Yeah, that looks alright. It's gonna be a... well... It's okay. It's okay to be a little bit tall for now. It's okay. I'm gonna... I made it so messy right now. That's fine. It'll be cleared up once I start doing the coloring part later. I guess this is just gonna be a wonky tree at this point because it's not really working out to be a straight tree. It doesn't want to be. And most of this tree I think is gonna be blocked. That's okay. At least like for sure when I draw the bat, that's for sure when this tree is just not gonna show up, I think. Alright. Well, never mind. I guess it would show up. It wouldn't show up as much though. I guess we're doing one tree here too. No. This is gonna be a straight tree. And, oops. And there we go. Okay. Candy Flesh says it's a blonde creature who call people it. And you haven't even heard of the Magnus Archives before you wrote it. Well, That's basically Michael. It's your version of Lucifer. Yeah, I completely skipped over that text. I went straight to Pathfinder, but yeah, Michael D&D character. That's silly. Now let's bring the house back. And now I'm gonna do some smaller trees in the background, which are not gonna be fully lined because it doesn't need to be. They're just stupid trees. With like very vague notations of, oh, there's branches here, I guess. Poking out. So then it looks like the forest is more filled than it actually is. Because I am not drawing 1001 trees. I don't need to. And now it looks pretty filled up. I think that's good. Okay, so now that this is essentially complete, actually I'm gonna do the moon and then I'm gonna switch over for like 30 minutes and draw the pumpkin. Which layer should the moon be? What's this? I'd say I'm gonna make a new layer for the moon just in case, because I don't know. Well, this is gonna be lower. It's gonna be all the way down here. Oops. I mean all the way down here. And I don't want to draw it into the background just in case. Just in case it does not work out. What's this layer supposed to be? Confused. Okay. Deleting that, I guess. And the moon is gonna be just behind these trees. I guess a crescent. The moon is also gonna be wonky, and that is okay. Actually, something that connects all the worlds together is I always draw 3 moons in my universes just because I think more moons look pretty. It looks pretty to have more than 1 moon. It makes everything brighter. It makes the supernatural more spoopernatural. That's a good enough moon. It looks so it looks so cartoonish compared to everything else. I might fix that later. But this is good. We're gonna save that to file. Because we don't want this getting ruined again. That would be awful. I guess I didn't really need to look at the Colton collage. Because I didn't really. Oh, bye-bye. I'm gonna keep this in the corner because I'm gonna draw some more later. Maybe. Like off stream. Let's see. Okay. So, I don't have any set colors for this little guy, and I just dropped my pen. I don't have any set colors. I only have the set colors for the background, which aren't really set colors. It was more just blocking in what the background was gonna be, since I know it's gonna be what it's gonna be. The other thing too is for this one, since it's a lot simpler than the house, I already separated all the layers so into like different parts. So like the body is separate from the arms and the legs and all that. Because I know there's just like little details that I want to add, like the head slightly moving forward to the jar and the jar moving a little bit. The bugs, the fireflies obviously moving. I might separate the fireflies into even more separate things after this. Uh, just because I animate with keyframes, so it moves the entire layer instead of doing little details. Which I guess I could just draw them. I could just draw little details to it instead of doing the keyframe thing. Keyframes mean I don't have to draw every single scene. I kind of just do a start point and an end point, and then it's done. Statement of Joe Spooky regarding sinister happenings. Ooh. I love Tim. Tim is so silly. Okay, so I think I'm gonna start with the head, because I know what color a pumpkin is supposed to be, so even if I don't know what color the jacket should be, I'm gonna make sure this is orange for color. Pumpkin head. I think I also separated by, let me see this. I also separated the comic ones. So I'm gonna make a new layer for that in case I want to just switch back and forth. And this is where naming my layers is really important, because I don't want to mix them up. And even though I don't usually enjoy naming my layers in a useful way, I think I have to occasionally. Let's see, should I make this more orange? I think this is a good orange. This is a fine orange. This is for... Okay, so now I'm gonna just flip between all of these, really. And I came up with like a concept of what the backstory to this little guy is, but I haven't fully developed it. Haven't I'm still working it out. I just know they're kind of considered undead, kind of considered a possessed pumpkin. Sort of. It's a little bit weird. But they're cute, so it doesn't matter if they're weird. Oops. Okay. That was really fast. Let's see, I want to do a really nice light brown. Maybe lighter than that, I think. That's a good brown. I forgot what color this is exactly, but it's one of my favorite shades of brown. Where it's like slightly grayish, but it's slightly warm. Slightly more red than yellow on the scale. Ooh, almost threw that in the wrong layer. Now I have to be extra careful. Since I separated everything, I don't wanna I don't want to mess it up. Okay. Let's do the whites of the eyes. I'm trying to think of what type of shading I want for this, because I might not do the comic shading I usually do. I might end up shading this one by hand, which basically just means instead of doing one layer with a multiply, like I did for the house, I'm gonna grab this color, turn it down this way a little bit, make it a little bit warmer, and then I'm gonna shade that way. Something like that. And it's a little bit more annoying, but it makes things look nicer in a way if you do it right. Okay, now I need to do, might keep that shade, but also do aqua-ish. Let's do this lighter. I want it to be a little bit more pastel. My little pastel pumpkin. Oops, wrong layer. Right. Keeping to the layers. Why is this the wrong layer too? Oh, because it's gonna move. Okay. Let me see, where did I separate it? Leaves. There we go. There's the leaves. Separated the leaves. I forgot about that. Leaves. And now I'm gonna color code that. I'm gonna color code this too, actually. I'm just gonna make all of this red so I can remember. Oh yeah, that's the line art for a separate thing that I've already done. Leaves. That's not how you spell it. And I think, let me see. That's just for the comic one. For this, I think the leaves stay, yeah, it stays connected. I mean, if anything, I'll just separate the layer if I really wanted to later. I don't know if I'm going to actually. And I think, hold on, the tail is separate, so I need to do another separate one here. Tail. Oops. Forgot that part of this liner exercise for Inktober was focused on having little gaps so I can't use the bucket tool. So this is really just gonna be all by hand. If I'm also gonna do the shading more manually. I might make it fade from the brown to the yellow. Not yellow. Brown to green. Green leaves, not yellow leaves. Although, that kind of gives me an idea. It would be kind of cool to see the leaves change color with the weather. Although, if you look at actual pumpkin leaves, they stay green. They don't actually change. But it reminds me of a character from, oh, I'm trying to remember the username. But there's this one comic artist who, it's the same artist who drew Hooves of Death on WEBTOON. And that's artist moved on to other things, and one of the projects, one of the new comics, is about like nymphs, and one of them is a, I guess I'd say a nature nymph, and she's made of leaves, and she changes colors with the seasons. So like her hair falls out in the winter because all the leaves are dead. And then in the fall, like right now in the comic, it like the leaves are orange and pretty and growing back, kind of. Not growing back, but like slowly not growing back. And I think that concept is kind of cool. Although the screen is very pretty, so I'm probably gonna keep it. In that case, I might use this brown for, I'm gonna use the same brown for the boots actually. It's always good to reuse colors, because it makes things look cohesive. And I haven't fully figured out whether this part, like the little fluff, is attached to the boots or if it's a part of the pants. Because I don't know what would look better, what would make more sense. I think I think it would be cute if the boots had fluff, but at the same time, it also makes sense if the cuffs of the pants were just rolled up. And that would give it a different, sort of different vibe. Maybe more fall-like vibe, because the puffy, fluffy boots remind me more of winter, I think. And rolled up pants make me think more of, I'd say summer, technically, but hmm, I don't know. I'm gonna figure that out later. Let's see. The fireflies. I'm gonna do the fireflies next, because I also know for sure that the fireflies are yellow. It would be a warm yellow, just because when I actually do the lighting, then it's gonna be a lot brighter. And if I do a light yellow and it's a light yellow on top of light yellow, it doesn't really work. So because of that, I'm just gonna stick to it like this. The leaves, not the leaves, the wings. The wings look like leaves, but for the wings, I'm gonna make them yellow because then they're gonna look a little bit white with the extra lighting. Let's see. I think I might make the jacket brown, but I don't know what shade of brown I should use. Might make it a darker shade, but then I don't know what the scarf should be. Hmm. Patchiness. Maybe I can use the orange somewhere else. Maybe I can use the orange for buttons. Let's see, where is the body? Buttons. And this isn't gonna be the official look of the character. I still have to think about other things. Like, I know the only character right now in the story that has an official look is Nikolai. I might not be pronouncing his name right either. Whatever. Um, Nikolai, he has. I got rid of the file, but whatever. He has his own uniform, and I need to make another version where he's outside of his uniform because that's different. Like, he's a different outfit for that. In Colson, I'm still doing concept art for it. I might make it a thing where, like, in Good Omens, there's a thing between Crowley and Aziraphale, where Aziraphale through the years doesn't change his outfits. He stays mostly the same, which lines up with the way, like, as an angel, he's like more aligned with God and more aligned with, he knows himself. He knows that he's an angel and he's supposed to do his duties as one. Versus Crowley, as a demon, he doesn't. He's still almost finding himself in a way, I'd say, because he always changes his outfits and wigs and all that, uh, as the as we see flashbacks, and I think that kind of symbolism is interesting, and I might do that with Colton, where he has more outfits, and I know Mercy has a lot of outfits too, but that's more of just because it makes sense. She's a princess, sort of. She's royal. She has more things in general than most people, and also different outfits have different meanings depending on the type of place she needs to go for them. Like, she has like gowns versus things that are more for her job, what she actually does on a day-to-day basis, versus like when she finally gets a break, she might still wear she might still wear her outfit from the day, but more loose and not as fully fully ready to go, I'd say. But yeah, she usually doesn't have a lot of free time, which she has enough free time to write and read a little bit every now and then, but that's about the most free time she gets. Anyways, I think I'm gonna have to figure out the colors for this guy, for this silly off stream, because we've been streaming already for I think 2.5 hours. So, and my voice my voice is giving out. So with that, at least we got to work on a little bit of the haunted house and this little pumpkin character, and even a little bit of Colton. So we got quite a bit done for this, and maybe I won't have to stream this this haunted house again, and hopefully it actually saves and lets me upload it as an animation. Because I'm looking forward to that one. I want to put it as my desktop background. So with that, I hope you guys had fun. I might continue streaming on YouTube. It's a little bit tough setting it up for the first time, but I think I kind of like it little bit better than Twitch. And maybe it will help other people actually get to the stream easier. So, bye. You should really sleep. That's way too late. 2 a.m. You should really sleep. It's only 7 p.m. for me. Night night. Bye bye. Have a spooky rest of your day.